Then after he have worked with Span Consultant PBT New Delhi. Then he was the project manager for Tata Consultant Engineer for more than 6 years. Presently, Honorable Sri Mahesh Kadam sir is working with the Kirby Building Systems and Structures as a Deputy General Manager projects. Well, since last 10 years, he is working with we are working on the same post, that is the Deputy General Manager with Kirby Building Systems. He is a he has a core competency of project management, estimation, costing, and budgeting, division development, feasibility education, training and evaluation, cross functions, internal as well as external. Well, not taking much of your time due to the time constraint, we do. I request you all to join my hands to welcome Mahesh Kadam sir for today's webinar. Thank you very much. I request Kadam sir to initiate his talk.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all respected dignitaries, respected teaching staff, all the teachers from KBP College, and my dear friends. It's a great privilege to join the college platform. It's like out, and then afterwards, it's all together 24 years coming back to the college and presenting myself. It's a great. I want to convey my thanks to my friend, our HOD Sheila sir, and Assistant Professor Swati Gosavi, ma'am, and to give me an honor to share the knowledge what we have gained during the last 22 years of site works and the project evaluation and project execution. And as well said, it's a knowledge sharing, it's a knowledge gaining. So now I'm taking forward with my coming to the topic where we're starting with on this subject of and methodological approach for construction of an composite structure buildings in steel structure. Just 1 minute.
So for a while.
Yeah.
May I request you for presenting your screen?
Yeah, that's what. Can you just...
Also, I would like to request all the dear participants, we have exceeded the number of participation in the webinar. So you can ask your friends to join through the YouTube link that I am just sharing on the chat box, in the chat box. Also, after completion of this webinar, we will be having an e-certificate. Okay, sir. Please initiate. Thank you.
One sec. There is some snag again. You're able to see? Tapasya sir, whether you have stopped the sharing from your side?
Yes, I have stopped my sharing, sir.
Have you downloaded my presentation?
Yes, sir. Should I have present on your behalf?
Yeah, please. Can you make the bigger screen?
Yes. Now we can hear. Yeah.
Yes. So this building is we are doing it for a confidence group in Nagpur. So if you can see, this building is an typical composite steel structure wherein we can get a view of how we can play with a building in a steel structures and get more what we can say justification to the architect, what is his thought process and going to the structures and what he can, an architecture view we can get about it. Next slide. Next slide, please. Can you give the control here?
So it is not possible, like, because
Okay,
I am
chalo.
presenting from my desktop, so it is not possible, right?
Okay. Next slide. So briefly, I will explain about Kirby. Kirby is an 1976 form organization. It's a predominant in pre-engineered buildings. We are the largest quality PEP solution provided worldwide. We have installed capacity of 4 lakh metric tons per annum in from the 5 factories located in Kuwait, Ras Al Khaimah, India, UAE, and Vietnam. We have done almost 85,000 landmark buildings in more than 40 countries with a supporting staff of 300 builders. Next.
Oh,
These are the 5 plant locations. One is with 1 lakh metric ton capacity. In India, we have 2 plants. One is in Hyderabad and Haridwar. Ras Al Khaimah, we have 50,000 metric tons. In Vietnam, we have 40,000 metric tons. Mr. Narendra, I think, can you mute your this thing? Mr. Narendra. So as we said, this is a global, we have a global footprint and we have 70 sales offices, 5 manufacturing plant units. In India, we have 21 sales offices and 2 manufacturing units. So we provide end-to-end solutions. Next.
नाही आता
Next
presentation
slide.
चालू केलं त्यामुळे काही करता येणार नाही मला.
Composite structures in vogue. It's a fast in speed. So we can get more early break-even. Composite structures extracting benefit of steel structures and RCC members, making it sections as slender without defeating the strength. So we get more larger floor space. That is a value for money. And flexibility in steel advantages for easier, higher vertical movement. Next. What is in the composite structures? The composite structures has 3 main constituents. One is the composite columns. We call it as a CFT columns, or we can have a simple non-composite I section columns. Composite beams, steel I section beams with the grid and the joist beams intermediate members, which are connected with a composite slab with an shear connectors, and the reinforcement steel placed on that for and giving us an shrinkage and temperature stresses. In the design parameters, what we do is that we refer number of design codes for getting about what are the dead loads, live loads, wind loads, imposed loads, and special loads, etc. Seismic loads, we refer 1893. For the concrete reinforcement, we refer IS 456, SP 16, SP 34. For the steel structure design sections, like what are the plate sections for the flanges, for the webs, the plate connections for the beam connections and all, we refer IS 800. For the connection, mainly the steel structures, those are the prefabricated steel structures. We get it from the plant. So there are the 2 type of connection. One is at the nut bolt connections and another are the welded connections. We dominantly do the nut bolt connections, for which we use HS bolts, for which we refer IS 4000. For the designing of the composite steel structures, we refer Eurocode EN 1994-11. American Institute of Steel sections, we use 360 special specification for the steel structure buildings. So what happens is that we design taking all these loads and the parameters and go in we use ETABS. From the ETABS, whatever the output we get, we take it into for an Tekla for designing about the members and about detailing about the members. So what happens is that total steel structure, superstructure is metal deck slab structure with the composite columns, structural steel beams, and the composite slabs with the connecting with the shear walls, and the slab beams, floor slab being used as a diaphragm in redistribution of the lateral forces. Next. So here you get a Tekla view of our project, which we are doing for an confidence group, what we shown it to you in the first slide. So what happened is that any structure, we have to work breakdown, understand it, what is going to be the structure, how it is going to be formulated. So in Tekla, we get about what we had taken up the output from the ETABS, the designs, what will be the members and the vertical members, the horizontal members, and how it will be fitting and all those things. Next slide. The time is an essence of a project. So we need to understand what is our project timeline. So any project, we have to make about what is the timeline from the LOI, from the conceptual. Rather, it can be go from the conceptual stage to the engineering stage to the execution stage. Here we are taking the timeline, as we are the contractors, we are taking the timeline from the LOI date. Next. Till the total work breakdown, we have done it and interlinking with an initial, all the other dependent activities, interdependency with an RCC works and the concrete placing, flooring and all. Next. Manufacturing, we have a very state-of-art fabrication facility located in both the plants. And here we are taking it more about in our Hyderabad plant, wherein we have a sophisticated CNC machine controlling for the three-axis beam drilling and saw cutting line. We have the production capacity for only for the structural steel, which are very complex jobs. We are having a separate line for which caters for 1,200 metric tons per month, with a beam depth of 1,000 mm and the drilling dia of 40 mm. The steel structure fabrication and welding, we have our well-qualified coded fabricators, welders using MIG welding and saw cutting and all other equipment methods, and CNC tools and machineries we are using it. For all the jointing, we do the DP testing and the UT test. And we have the traceability from when we say the coded fabricators and the welders when they are doing it. So we do and proper tracing about the materials, how it is to be done, where it is, who has done that, fabricated the beams or the columns, and we can really understand about it. And for checking of it, we have the quality, trained quality inspectors, because in high-rise structures, which is more for an dynamic structures, because the wind load is acting when we are going vertically up. So these dynamic structures, we have to be more stringent about the quality standards, and it has to be closely monitored and executed. Next. This is a typically what happens in a plant, prefab plant fabrication. There is a multi-torch cutting machines for and faster plate, because these are all the 3 plate connections that is on the both the flanges and the webs. So the plate connections, we do the torch cutting, and from that we extract the plates. Then we have the submerged arc welding machines for an very fine and quality welding of the 3 plates or the brackets and all. This is a typical built-up line fabrication, what you can say, that the sleepers are there on which the columns or the beams, I sections, typically I sections, fabricated are placed there for the stiffener weldings and checking about it, the welding finishing, then the fitments, the brackets and all. Next. This is what we called it as a sophisticated FESEP machine, which gives you a very fine, very great tolerance about the cutting of a saw cutting and 3-axis drilling. What happens in this machine is that whatever the outputs we are taking it from the Tekla, those are directly, we feed it to the CNC machine, and accordingly the job is got done in this members actually. Next. typical fabrication plant. Next. The members which are fabricated as per the requirements, we have to do the blasting about it for the achieving the surface finish of SA 2.5 STD, and then it is given made it ready for an paint applications. Next. So here we are taking one of the case study that is about the confidence project, that is the gas point project. What is this building? The building, when it comes about, when the plant engineer building, when it fabricated and we receive it on the site, now we have to do an execution about it. So what we have to understand, what is the building size and what are the height about it. That building height is of 57 meters above the ground level, and the cellar is 8.5 meters. It constitutes of lower basement, upper basement. That is, we come about 8.5 meters to the ground floor level. Then is an lobby area, reception area. 6 floors are the office. Then the 7th floor is a service floor plus and refuse area. And above are 4 floors of the duplex residential area. The total steel component is 1850 metric tons and the deck sheeting of 1126 square meters. So how we do the work breakdown about it? So what we do is that each column, the transportable length is of around 12 feet. So 12 feet means how much it is. We can do about the 2 floors. So the 2 floors per column, 2 floors, the beams will be there. So how many members are there? 2 floors, it is having 284 members. So 284 lifts, it will be there. Per crane, how much lifts we can do it in a day? Then how many days are required? Deck sheeting. What is the square meter of a deck sheeting? What is an average area laid per day by a team? And how many numbers of days are required for laying it? So here what we do is that when we derive this number of lifts, so 284 total lifts are there, and per day, per crane, what happens is that 12 hours is an daylight we do an erection work. In daylight erection, in Indian construct, we do in a daylight. So it is altogether 18 lifts we can do by a tower crane in a day. And number of days required is straight away the mathematical 284 divided by 18. So 16 days will require for an erection. Parallel, the decking will be happening. 1532 square meters will be the 2 floors of and deck sheeting. So 450, 10 numbers of laborers when we deploy sheeting team, we get 450 square meters per day. So it will take altogether 3 days. Here the welding is also involved because the column splicing is here as a welded connections. Next. Typical resource planning. What are the labor's requirement? What are the equipments that are the cranes and all? How many months and how the distribution will be there, when it will be starting and where it will be ending. Next. Any structure, when we go about it, we should have a clear-cut erection method statement. Now, erection method statement, we get it more clear, have to specify about it to get any clarity on the project, that what are the description of the project, what is the location about it, what are the materials involved into that, that is the columns, beams, deck sheeting and all. Then the members, how they will be erecting members, erecting team, how it will be there, erecting equipments. Then the tools and tackles, we have to very detailed way, micro level, we have to do the study about it and put all those details. So there should not be any miss in when we are doing it. Then what is our safety plan, how it will be moving and all. Next, what is the prerequisite starting points and all about it, how we will be doing it. We have to clearly capture about it, where the tower crane will be placing, what are the column connections, how the column connections will be happening, how we will be erecting it, how we will be placing it. Next. Any detailed minute part also we have to capture in this work method statement, and it should be documented, well documented. So this document becomes a Bible for our project execution. Next. Any project, what we have seen is that high-rise structures, wherever the high-rise structure comes, what we have, paucity of an space What is that? Paucity of space. We don't, in a city areas, we high-rise building where it comes, we have an area occupied on the all the four peripheral side. So we do not have an area, sufficient area to stock our materials, what we are getting it from the plant and all. So we have to do a planning, perfect planning to make it as a just in time. So when we are making as a just in time, what we do is that we bifurcate the project at how much it can be catered, how much space we have and how much it can do. So what we have done, this floor plate, we are divided into two parts again, the priority 1 for grid line number 1 to 4 and the priority 2 from 4 to 8. So this is a phase plan, which we give it to the plant also backend, and we do the planning about it, how the fabrication has to be done in this plan, what should be the sequencing about it. If you take it up, for example, this project is of 1850 metric tons only. So 1200 metric tons is our capacity to do per month. So it is only 45 days job, but for my erection with an interdependency, it is an altogether going to take 5 months, 5 to 6 months, because of considering the number of lifts, the lifting capacity of the crane, then working hours, stringent working hours and all. So if I fabricate, look, my plant is having 1 lakh metric tons of an capacity. So nothing, we do not have the storage capacities. So we cannot store it. So inventory is blocked also. So what happens is that we have to sequence our production also as per what is going to happen on the site. So this entire planning we have to do it and correlate it, make it cohesive and act in a way that it is a just in time without any inventory cost, to safeguard our inventory cost. Next slide. Detailed list of our equipments, tools and tackles, right from the D-shackles, torque wrenches, every minute level we have to jagged it out, chalk it out and plot it up. What are the chain blocks? What are the tons of the chain blocks? What are the retractable for arresters and all? We should be very speculatively put it on the, jot it down on the paper. Next. Now another part is that whenever we are working in an high-rise building, with the crane movement, where the crane to be kept, where the crane to be placed, because of the space, scarcity of the space and all. So the demarcation of it is very clear. We have to be more clarify about where the tower crane will be placing it, and it will be executing without any hampering of the work progress of not only about the structural steel, also the civil works. And what happens is that when we go higher up, it cannot happen that the entire building structure is completed and then the interior and the finishing people are coming inside. No, it will go in a ladder activities. So as soon as we reach above 5th floor or 6th floor, the below floors, the interior work starts. Next. So we have to be very clear about how the tower crane to be placed. It cannot happen that the tower crane, our equipments we are placing in somebody else land. It's not possible. Now, second, what happens is that in this project, we have all the two sides, it's a road. Two sides, it is in the heart of a city of Nagpur. So both sides we have a road, and other two sides, one side is our school is there, back side is an hospital. Next. So tower crane, where we are placing it, we need to understand what are the tower crane, what is the load carrying capacity, the boom length. What happens is that tower crane, as per the boom length, the load carrying capacity, lifting load carrying capacity gets changed. So as per that, we need to understand what will be, we have to clearly plot it, our layout plan, and on that layout plan, we have to jot it down the lifting capacity of the tower crane also. So what happens is that our members, steel members, the lifting as per the lifting capacity, we can make the segments accordingly and give it to the engineering for detailing it and the fabricating accordingly, and we can reduce the number of lifts. We can play with the lifts, so we can play more about the time in this. So this involves and very accurate planning about it and execution. Next. This is an 3D view of the project, how it will be going, how it will be going upwards and all about it. If you can check that When we are going upward, the below line, the deck sheeting, concreting has happened there, and these are there. Center part is that there are the core walls. These are the lift core walls, and all on the four peripheries we have and staircase, fire escape staircases, shear walls, and all. Now, central core wall, generally when these high-rise buildings in a composite structure, any this thing, RCC wall. Now, RCC walls acts as an spinal cord of an building, and the steel structures get connected with the spinal cord, and we get an vertical alignment about the structure. What happens is that in a high-rise structures, we have to know what is a CG. We have to be very clear about the CG of each and every column. So what happens is that if any column is out of in verticality, that is, it is in a crude language what we say, when it is out of plumb, with that CG changes. When the CG changes, the deflection happens in the building. When the deflection happens in the building and we go straight away erecting in similar way, our structure is unstable. So we have to be more clear about how the verticality to be maintained about it, and proceed. Next. Very detailed field quality plan, like how we have a quality plan for the manufacturing, where we have MTCs, like MTCs are there, then the what we are doing at a plant, the cutting about it, then the welding, welder qualification, welder quality checks, then the material post fabrication, how the quality checks. Similarly, on the site execution also, we should have an field quality plan. So what are in high-rise buildings, any steel structure, the first point is about the anchor bolts. So anchor bolt setting is very critical, because we need to know how the structures will be set about it. So the anchor bolts, we have a very jot down very clear what are the center to center distances, what is the height of an anchor bolt above the concrete surface, what are the tolerances about it, and which codal provision we are following for it. Next one is about the column base plate. What are the levels of the column base plates, about the tolerances it is. And what happens is that structural steel, we refer IS code 12843 for our all the tolerances and the specifications about it for the erection works. Checking the main column verticality of the column, IS code specifies that above that is L by 1200 for an 30-meter building, and L by 1500 for the structure which is going above 30 meter. Next. As I said very clearly that these are all the nut bolted connections. We have two connections, but we dominantly do the nut bolting connections. So nut bolting connections, what we use it as high strength bolts, HSFG bolts. So there are two types of bolts, high strength bolts or HSFG bolts, high strength friction bolts. So there are stipulated for each bolt dia what is an torque value for it. So it is not just about nut bolting tightening with an hammer tightening and all. We have to check after that the torque value of it. So then when the designated torque we are achieving it, we get a strength of that bolt is tightened to the fullest extent. The torque value should not be exceeding more than this also, otherwise there is a chances of a shear failure of a nut bolts. Welding connections on site also we do, and two types of welding connections. For the root we do the root DP test, and after the root, whatever the filling we are doing, we do the UT testing for it. Embedded plates, those are the insert plates. Then the installation of the deck sheets, what is an alignment of a deck sheets, what are the tolerances for it. The tolerance is 3 mm plus or minus for the line, and our lateral joining or the longitudinal joints about it. Shear studs. The shear studs in composite structure are the most important, because what happens is that the beams above which the deck sheet is provided has to be fusion weld, and the shear with the shear studs. The shear studs gives an composite, plays an important role in a composite action where the deck sheet and the beams are connected, fusion, and when the concrete is placed on that, totality, a segment becomes as an uniform a member which is going to take up the load and transfer it to the columns. What happens in a composite structure is that when this entire total homogeneous happens, beams, deck sheet, stud welded, concrete placed with our what we call as a surface reinforcement, it becomes, after the strength is achieved, when the concrete is set, and after 7 days, it becomes and more lighter, and it transfer the loads in this thing. So we can play with and beam sections also. The beam depth becomes less. Next, anchor bolts. These are the typical anchor bolts. We use 8.8 grade anchor bolts for an high-rise structures. Anchor bolt setting, what I said very clearly, it was an anchor bolt setting is an very critical, and we have to be more stringently followed about it. We use a total station for checking about it. The northing easting points are marked as per the layout, and each and every bolt is checked with because the bolt what happens in a column pedestal, there are a number of bolts are there. So we take it as in one cluster, and that cluster we have to check every cluster what is the northing easting about it, whether we have achieved that northing easting and not, and how much is it with how much tolerance it is there. Secondly, the box column is away from the center line. What we do is that we get from an architect drawing the center line about the structures, okay, center line about the columns of the foundations, center line of the column. But here the what we are using is about the box columns, CFT columns, or the I section columns. So that center line won't be visible. So we have to transfer it on the edges about the northing easting point of this. So these northing easting points becomes a base which we have to follow it from the anchor bolt level, that is an base plate level, till the top of our building. That is whether it is 72-meter height building, a 67-meter height building, 83-meter height building, any 100-meter height building. Next, we have to have a very clear-cut plan, lifting plan about how the columns we are going to lift and place on the anchor bolts. This lifting plan should very clearly state about what is the weight of a column, what that member, what we are going to lift, whether it is in what radius from where we are going to lift and where we are going to place it up. Then how the anchoring of an anchor bolts we are going to do, what type of a ceiling we are going to use it up. Next. When the columns are placed and the minimum beams, what main beams we have provided, we come to the next point about protocol for an verticality check. Verticality check is a more important, what we call it is an crude is a plumb report. Now what is in verticality? That is the northing and easting, what we have passed it on the base plate of a column, and that northing and easting we are checking it up. So any 73-meter height building, for example, L by 1500, we get it as a 46 mm is a tolerance. So the base plate at the base plate level, at a ground level, and when we check it at a 73-meter height, the tolerance, the building should be that each column, that northing and easting should be within 46 mm only, not more than that. If it is getting away, so every lift of a column, what happens? 73-meter, it cannot go with one column. It will be, we are getting it columns within a size of like 12 meters. Columns and maintain it within the tolerances. Next. We maintain the protocols of the columns vertical stage by stage, which are jointly signed by we check it at a three tier checking has to be done. One is about the site people who are doing it, then the second one is about the consultants, and third one is about the client team also. So we get a three tier checking. So 3 times when we check it up, yes, it is checked and we are going ahead. Next. So what I shown you about the 3D model about it. Now this is about actual core wall, how it will be there, and the columns and the beams, connections and all. Next. Insert plates. Now, what we are seeing is that the core wall, the beam is going to get connected with this core wall. Core wall is an happen with an concrete structure which is going with a slip form this thing. So slip form column, concrete structure, the beam has to be connected. Here we need to have a steel plate. So what we do is that we provide an IP plates, that is the insert plates, and to which the beams will be connected with an our cleats. Next part. Number of lifts. The beams are the lighter beams. So the beams weight per beam will be maximum 500 kg. In this structure, we are having 11-meter beams are 585 and 8-meter length beams are 386 kg. So when this such type of beams, we can go with the multiple lifting. We have to very clearly mark out the CG of the beams and providing the multiple lift brackets and all, and tying it and lifting in one go. So what will happen is that we get an the beams. If we go 4 beams, the number of lifts are reduced. Number of lifts are reduced, so we get a speed about it, about the structure, how it will be moving faster. The crane movement will be the faster. Next. So if you see on the right side picture shows that the core wall, that is an RCC wall, in the insert plate, the beam is get connected with the fin plate. And on the left hand side, we see that the main CFT column, we get a tubular column. And for the tubular column also, there is a fin plate to which the beams are getting connected. When the fin plate and the beam connection is happening, we call it as an shear connection. Next. Now this is a typical detail about the moment connections, wherein there is a bracket welded to the CFT column, and for the bracket we connect the beams which are having a splice plate from top flange and the bottom flange also, and in the waves. Next. Typical pictorial of nut bolt tightening. Next. High-rise building, we have to be more cautious about the safety tools and tackles. What are the safety tools we are using? This is the beam roller, which is anchoring with the beam top flange, and your safety harness is connected with this. Any spanner, your this thing, tools and tackles, those have to be very with an tagline. So nothing, you have to avoid a fall this thing. Next, fall hazard. Next, this is a typical battery operated torque range, wherein if you see in the picture 4067 Newton meter is an torque value of an bolt. So this BTM 3000 lithium, what we used in our Phoenix project, has a minimum torque value of 678 Newton meter and maximum of 4076 Newton meter torque value. So designated torque value, we fix it up and we start operating the machine, and the bolt is tightened to that torque value, and automatically when this torque value is achieved, the machine stops. So we get the defined torque value. The nut bolts are tightened at a defined torque value. Second one is that when we are working in an city area, there is another challenge is that about the noise pollution. Steel works are happening, concrete works are happening, the continuous machineries are working, and the people staying in vicinity, they get annoyed and all. And here in this project, where were all the affluent people, so they started complaining, and so we were forced to go for a thought process. So we had tied up with an ABS and we brought it down this noise reduction, less noise generating bolt tightening machine of 35 decibels. And because the permissible is pneumatic bolt tightening machine makes as 95 decibels, and permissible in city areas is 40 to 45 decibels is permitted. Next. As earlier discussed, designing as IS 800, what we had talked about it, how we do about the designing part about it. And in designing, there are 3 types of main connection detailing. What we do is about the column to column connections, column to beam connections, main beam to the secondary beams connections. Those are the joist beams. and core wall to shear wall connections. So in these connections, there are two type of main connections. What we are doing is about fin plate connection, that is a shear connection. And the next one is about the moment connection, that the beam bracket and with the splice plates. The column to column connections, we have three dominant connections. One is a splice plate, that is the I section columns. We do splice plates connections. Then we can have for the I section columns or the CFT columns, the end plate connections, and even the splice welding connections also. Next. Now this is about typical splice plate column connections, wherein the bottom splice plates, there are plates from the outer flanges, then the inner side of the flanges, then the web connections also. So these we make it as a crocodile shape, and the top column, when we insert it, that it goes into that crocodile shape method, and then we start with the nut bolt connections. If you check it up, such type of an erection, we require only 4 to 5 people on the top. So this is the beauty of such type of an working. Next. I derived here one of the method of an, sorry to use that word as an I, but it was an lot of thought process has gone, and to achieve a safety about when we are working going vertically up to 10 meters, 20 meters height, somewhat we can manage. But when it on the peripheral columns, which are outside this thing, we have to be more careful about the safety of a person for de-sealing of the column from the crane. So de-sealing, here we use the remote ground release shackle. These are dominantly used in an heavy engineering works, generally in shipbuilding and power projects. So this was this tool what we derived it and did a lot of Kaizen on that part, and we developed it in our factory. Tapasiji, left hand side, there is one photo is there. No, can you click on that photo? Double click it. It's not starting. Okay, take it. Leave it. Let's go for a next slide. Here, what I wanted to show is that the video clip, unfortunately, please go to backside. Actually, what happens is that here in remote ground release shackle, what we have done is that there is a quarter pin and there is a piston in this. So first we remove, when the column is placed, tighten it up, we remove the quarter pin, and then slowly at the bottom line only, people standing on a bottom platform, they pull and push, and the piston is brought down back, and the column is released from the crane. Next. This is a second type of an column connection, that is an end plate connection, which we have generally seen everybody. Bottom picture, if you can see, there are the holes, vertical holes you can see, in which these columns, the tubular columns, composite columns, are filled with an concrete inside. Next. This is the third type of an weld splice connections. This is also an tubular columns, which are concrete infilled, but here there is no nut bolting. It is an welding connections. The plates, what you are seeing, the nut bolts, those are only the erection bolts. When the erection has happened, alignment has happened, and when we do the welding and all, these have to be cut and removed it. Next. Typical male-female connections, you can see the bottom columns, there is an red color projected member. So when we are erecting from the top the columns, like earlier in an splice columns, we were using as a crocodile method. Here it will be a typical male-female connection. Sorry. Next. Site welding, root and all for the welded connections. Here you can see the plates are connection plates, that the erection plates are removed. Next. When we do the welding on a site, any welding, we have to be very double assured what we are doing it about it. So root welding, what we do, we are doing the DP test, 100% DP test for root. welding filling, what we're doing with an MIG welding, we did an UT testing. So for the columns, we did 10% of an columns, and for all the horizontal members, because these members going to carry the load and all from the top this thing. So we use an 100% UT testing for the beams, box beams and the box girders. Next. This is the project what we did for Suntech in Trivandrum. Singapore-based design is of Zhurong, and the PMC by JLL and executed by Kirby. If you see about this building, when this is a beautiful architecture building, at bottom level 54, then 56, 54, 58 and 62 meters, if you can see the cantilever projecting out. So in all the directions, these cantilevers are coming outside, protruding outside the building. And on the left hand side, that what you are seeing, the cantilever, it is 10 meters away from the building. And right hand side, when it is going cantilever and cantilever out, it is 5 meters away from the building. This was a big challenge when we taken a job, and we were involved right from the engineering and all within Zhurong, and for what should be the positive camber to be made, what should be the box sections, how the tubular sections to be made, fabricated and connected, and how the erection to be happen. Because at 54 meters, 58 meters and 62 meters, it is all these three out cantilevers are what we can say is very safety concerns, safety hazards were there, and there was no chance that we can do it from the ground, any connections for it. So the people have to travel outside the building and do the erection. Next. This is a typical tubular truss sections what we provided here for this cantilevers and all, wherein we provided the positive camber for the cantilever portion on the outer side. Next. This is an glimpses, photographs I have shared with you, how the difficult task was there, how the people were coming out of the building and doing it. What was our challenge was that we did a pod lifting. If you see the yellow hatch portion, we assembled this cantilever portion on the ground level itself, and with the help of a crane, we lifted it up and then connected with an main truss beams. Here we have to do a lot of site kaizen also, that what is the philosophy we have to do about it, then how to make the deck sheeting and this thing. So safety was a main concern, and luckily we achieved it. Not we can say luckily, but we did a lot of engineering, a lot of brainstorming, we had done it, and simulation we did it, and we successfully executed it. Positive camber, an entire structure is with a positive camber of 10 mm. Next. Deck sheeting part. Now we'll come to the last part of an project in an composite section, that is about the deck sheeting. Next. In a deck sheeting, these are number of members involved. One is an profiled TR sections deck sheets, then the end claps for when we have the profile sections, the concrete should not spill it over, from this profile deck sheets. So we close it up with the end cap flashings. For fastening of the deck sheets, we use the fasteners, SDTS screws, 16 mm by 19 mm. Those are used for an sheet to sheet connection, that is for the lateral connections. And deck sheet to the beam connection fastening, we use 24 by 32 mm dia screws. Right hand side is the shear connectors. This is the main part of an any composite member, that is a deck sheeting, and the beams to be connected. The shear connectors has to be fusion welded. Next. This is a typical profile of an deck sheet. This is a different deck sheet from any another deck sheeting what we see projects. In a composite section, if you see a typical TR60 or TR80, top there is a crown. Now this crown acts as an this mainly acts as an your shear this thing sharing of an supporting for the sharing, arresting the sharing of an members. So the concrete and the deck sheet is connected properly. There is no gaps generated. It doesn't, the concrete doesn't leave the deck sheet and all, and properly tying about it. The profile makes it, gives the strength, strengthening for it, and strengthening for an entire member, homogeneous composite member. Next. This is a typical fusion welding. The studs, we use a fusion stud welding gun and stud welding machine. So here at 140 volts, we give an volt current, and the bolt studs are fusion welded with the beams and the deck sheeting. Last one photo is an hammer test. Actually, my presentation has got Tapasaji, can you give me 1 minute? I will just check it up whether I can again load it. Can you just
Yes, I'll make it. I'll stop sharing, sir.
yeah.
Well, in between, I would like to let you know that we will be having a snap after the webinar. So I request you all to have your videos on after the webinar.
It's not happening. Anyway, you please start again. Sorry. Tapasaji, please start because it is not happening.
Yes.
Actually, in hammer test, what we do is that we hammer the fusion studs. So we check it up in a hammering and the bend test that the stud should not be broken away, sheared away from the correct word is sheared away from the fusion connecting between the deck sheet and the beams. Next. Now this is about the case study about the data center project, what we did it for the controllers in MAPE. Here the designer has used the beams also. Those are got inbuilt concreted with the deck sheeting and this thing, because in data center the loading parameters are too high on the floor plate. So here he has taken a benefit of instead of increasing the depth of a beam, he has beam himself, he has getted composite action with an in totality. Next. So the deck sheets were connected with an beam in a soffit, and we use for the connection. Now normally our drilling screws, it cannot go in and like in this position. It can go from up top to bottom, but it cannot go from bottom to top. So here we use a special Hilti gun. Next. This is this Hilti gun, which is having a weight of 4 kg, the fastening intake of 40 nails in like an cartridge we have 40 nails, and length of an fastener is 39 mm. So it's like a gun, like a typical bullet gun. We just place it in that location and shoot it. So the nails get connected there. Next. This is this. Next. This is a typical platform, safe platform, what we have prepared, and the people standing there and connecting the deck sheet from the bottom of the beam. Next. This is a beautiful finish, what we got it from the bottom. It's really a great challenge to achieve such a beautiful finish with steel members. Because with the column soffit, if you check it about the beam soffit level, what we call generally in our PT slab, in our flat slabs and all as an column capital. Similar way here, the column capital made, and then this thing. Next. Control is building completed in Mahape, Mumbai. Next. This is a typical deck sheeting area, handing over protocol. Any job what we are doing, like we have to hand it over to then another agency, that is an like civil agency who is going to do the concreting. So that inter transmission, and we have to hand it over to the client also. So this is a typical handing over protocol. Next. Now we come to the part of how the insulation, fire insulation, we get it up. So what happens is that generally the concrete, what we say about RCC concrete is that the concrete is having, we get in 2 hour fire rating, but still it's a challenge. So still we have to be more careful about what will be and how to achieve the fire rating for it. So deck sheeting are designed in such a way, composite deck sheeting. So within concrete placing into that, for nominal weight concrete, normal weight concrete, we get an with that 90 thickness of concrete, we get 2 hour rating. And lightweight concrete for 80 thickness of an concrete, we get 2 hour rating. So what is this is the way, if you check it up, what is an insulation thickness, what we are shown in the drawing also, and the cover also. Next. Now this we are talk about the deck sheeting. Now we have to talk about the horizontal members. Those are the beams and the columns. There are two type of for the beams and the columns, which are exposed steel structures. We do two type of fire coating, fire protection coating. One is intumescent paint application. What happens is that at increased temperature, it expands at a ratio of 1:50, thus control the heat and the temperature to reach the steel, and we get an 2 hour fire rating, 2 hour rated. Yeah, what it's like 1 hour rated, 2 hour rated, 3 hour rated, 4 hour rated. So accordingly, the number of coats we have to, and the member, we have to understand about it, what is the polymer member content and this thing, what we can do. Next one is about vermiculate fire stopping. Vermiculate fire stopping spray. It's a cementitious fibrous plaster. What we do with a spray gun. So the normal thickness is from 10 to 70 as per the fire rating. Next. Now you can see here what happens is that the beams are there which are having a vermiculate painted, vermiculate coated. Vermiculated coating is a very rough finish and all, so it is not aesthetically good. So what is getting covered below the false ceiling, we can do with an vermiculate coating, because it is a more cost effective and very much cost effective. Like it is 4 times lesser than the our intumescent paint. But the columns are an exposed structure. So if we do about that, the cladding and all, again we are going to defeat this floor space. So what we do is the intumescent paint, we apply it on the column or the exposed surfaces. So next. This is the aerial view of our finished building. You can see on the top side and the bottom side how the bungalows are very close to the building, and this building do not have, to be honest, we were really struggling that we had a setback of only 12 meters on the front side, and on other 3 sides we had a setback of only 8 meters, and in which the civil team and that is Shapoorji Pallonji and Kirby, we have to do all our activities and hand it over. It is next photo. This is a semi-finished same building. So it was a big challenge. We handed it over altogether 1,10,000 square meters. So approximately 11 lakh square feet of an building. This is a total building built up area. It's a very beautiful building, challenging. Both the cranes, because of the space constraint. Can you go earlier photo? Because of the space constraint and all, and very stringent norms of an residential, there should not be aerial coverage of any construction equipment above the buildings, vicinity buildings. So we had to bring both the tower cranes inside the building. If you can see the yellow color and the red and white color cranes, both the cranes, we brought it inside the building, and we did the successful execution of this project. Next. Next. Now this is the first photo, my presentation, what we started, how the beautiful architecture building, what we were saying. This is this in a completion stage. We have right now achieved up to the last Mumti level. The beauty is that a terrace level, which is at 57 meter, we have 54 meter, we have a swimming pool, and the Mumti is at 57 meter above the ground level. All the four projects, right from Trivandrum, Suntec Trivandrum project, then MAPE project, Control-S, this Confidence project in Nagpur, and Phoenix project. All the four projects what we have executed, we have successfully achieved the project within a tolerance of 6 mm. We are not gone to 46 mm. We have achieved it within 6 mm. All the columns are within 6 mm for this big height. That is the biggest achievement. We have achieved it in a speed, quality. So what we call always that in any project, there are three main parameters. One is safety, second one is quality, and third one is an on-time completion. So all these three parameters, we have achieved it very successfully. There is zero time loss in any of our project. So we have achieved the safe man hours. The quality, yes, within 6 mm, all the quality stringently checked and all. We have achieved all the quality parameters, successfully completed all the protocols, jointly signed it off, handed it over to the client, and timeline, yes. So I open you all for any question and answers. I'm ready for that.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, the session is open for question answers. Participants are requested to raise their questions, if any.
Hey, hi Mahesh, this is Satyendra here. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, Satyen, you're audible.
Yeah, one of my questions is of these projects that you shared, which has been one of the most challenging experiences that you've had in this last 25 years of your experience. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. It's really a challenging project.
Any other participants? Would you like to share your thoughts on the webinar?
Sir, I have two questions.
Yes.
The first one is, do you maintain a regular risk register during the project execution?
Yes, we have to. We call it as an project level risk analysis. So every project level risk analysis, in an initial stage only we start it up. What are the risks involved? So if you check it up, what I correctly said about it is that in an erection method statement, when we start about, when we get the project about it, we go in a thought process and we start plotting about the risks. So what are the risks? One is like financial risk, whether it is there any financial risk about it. Second one is about timeline risk, safety related executional risk and all. And time to time level, we check it about it. So we have to plot it up every weekly. Safety reports come every monthly. We have to give monthly or fortnightly. We have to give the financial progress about this project and what is an execution progress reports and all, and which we captured about all the how we have achieved it and what are the risks covered about it and how we have proceeded further.
Okay. And one more question. Are there any placement opportunities for our students? And what is the eligibility for the same?
To be honest, yes, placement opportunities are there. We are looking for the engineers, but presently for last 1.5 year to 2 years, we have a really challenging part in the construction industry. And this being a very structural steel and the PEB works being a very what we can say in a very different engineering work. So it goes with and follows with a lean structure, and in when we follow with a lean structure, the requirements becomes too strict. Getting into it. But yes, definitely we have an opportunities, and we'll get back to you time to time.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other participants?
Yeah. Good morning, Manish. Abhay here. How are you?
Thanks. Doing good, Abhay.
Nice presentation. I just have just one quick question. You just mentioned regarding this risk register and risk analysis. Do you use any specific tool for that?
No, what we do is that generally we do general tracking with an MIS reports only. We generally do it with our Excel formats for financial tracking and with an S curves and all. Then for our work progress also, we use the same MSP output what we are getting, and then dropping the S curves and checking it up what we are going on, where we are going, and all those things. And wherever our weekly progress reports and the monthly progress reports, what are the reasons for any slippages and all, we capture in that. And safety related, we have our severity index capturing and all. So nothing specific as a different package what we use.
Excellent. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, to all the participants, the feedback link for the webinar.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thanks for participating. It was a great fun for sharing and the knowledge gained and coming back to the college and sharing. Yes, from where we have started our career, from where we have started our. So,
Before I ask Honorable Shelar sir to propose the vote of thanks for today's wonderful webinar, I would like to let all the participants to on their videos so that we can have a snap of the webinar. I would like to ask Bhagwan sir to have the snaps. Please on your videos for a couple of minutes. You're just taking your snaps. Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. So I request our Honorable Head of the Department, Professor Shelar sir, to propose a vote of thanks for today's wonderful session. Shelar sir, you are audible.
Hello, Mahesh Kadam sir यांनी and methodological approach for composite structure high-rise building structural steel construction या विषयावर सुंदर मार्गदर्शन केले. ते आपल्या 97 बॅचला पास आउट झालेले आहे. खरं त्यांनी आपल्याला उत्तम मार्गदर्शन केले. त्यांनी लॉकडाऊन उठल्यानंतर कॉलेजमध्ये येऊन पुन्हा दुसऱ्या विषयावरती मार्गदर्शन करावे ही विनंती. हा वेबिनार करण्यासाठी ज्यांनी प्रयत्न केले ते डॉक्टर तपासे, श्री बागवान सर आणि कदम सर व आमचे मार्गदर्शक प्रिन्सिपल अत्तार सर व NK पाटील सर यांचेही आभार व सर्व सिव्हिल डिपार्टमेंटचे प्राध्यापक वर्ग व विद्यार्थी व बाहेरील पार्टिसिपंट यांचेही आभार मानून हा कार्यक्रम संपला असे जाहीर करतो. धन्यवाद.
ओके,
थँक्यू.
थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
बाय.
सर्वांना ई सर्टिफिकेट वेबिनारचे मिळणार आहे, त्यामुळे फीडबॅक लिंक आणि अटेंडन्स शीट प्लीज भरून पाठवून द्यावी. थँक्यू महेश सर. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
थँक्यू.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.